Hold. Good morning and welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on the 2004 Nissan Titan 5.6 liter 4x4 yada yada, who cares, green color, and we are adding some aftermarket fog lights. So that would be these guys right here. So this has factory fog lights. They're about as dim as this. That light on that side is a lot brighter because somebody replaced it at some point. This is original yellow and ugly, as are the fog lights. And the fog lights don't do a whole lot anyway when it's snowing and whatnot. I mean, yeah, they do something, but it's not much. So living in South Dakota, up in the Black Hills, where it gets super foggy early in the mornings and super snowy in the winter, I decided to add some enhanced lighting, thus the yellow fog lights. So I will link these down in the video description below, and today I'm going to tell you how I installed these. I'm going to show you how I install them, tell you how I install them and all that. But to take care of some housekeeping first, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not specialized, I'm not certified, I'm not any way, shape, or form official in any kind of capacity as far as working on my vehicles. Everything I do because I like to do it. I figured it out, I learned how to do it, such on and so forth. And yeah, I'm not a mechanic. There's a lot of you guys that feel the need to tell me I'm not a mechanic, and I'm okay with that because it helps the comment statistics with YouTube. I just don't understand why you feel the need to tell me I'm not a mechanic when I tell you in pretty much every video I'm not a mechanic. But whatever, that's beside the fact. Go ahead and just keep telling me I'm not a mechanic because it does help the stats. Alright, so it's a chilly little morning here. We're about 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun is up and it is about 28 degrees right now. And yeah, I'm a little chilly. So we're going to kind of get through this. I'm not sure how we're going to handle these videos once winter actually kicks in. This has been a pretty warm fall so far. But yeah, so anyway, so to install these fog lights, the way that I installed them in the grill right there, it was actually a lot simpler than I thought. I was devising all kinds of plans with brackets and gussets and stuff, but essentially all I did is I took some 2-inch flat strap that's like, I don't know, an 1/8 inch thick maybe, and I just cut them into strips. I don't remember the measurements now, it's been a couple weeks, but they're probably about 5 inches long. Maybe only 4 inches long, I don't know. But that's what I'm showing you on the video right now. Just long enough to go from that steel piece right there and slide up under the plastic. There's a little lip under this plastic right here. And I just made it sit in there nicely. As far as spacing, well, I attached them by welding. I'll show you that in a second. I welded them to the steel bumper in place and it became very solid. But as far as spacing goes, I kind of just put the light up there and kind of fit it where I wanted. I wanted them as far out as I could, but I still wanted to be able to get to the Allen head. I've come up with a different idea now, but it's too late, so we're sticking with what I did. So all I did is I put the Allen wrench in the Allen head on the adjustment screw and pushed it all the way over to the edge to where I could just barely get the Allen key in and out, and that's where I decided I wanted the light mounted. Then I just took a little Crayola and marked my center point. I was not very official with any of this as far as measurements go, but I marked the center point. And then I drilled a hole in the metal piece and the plastic on the truck. The plastic on the truck was hard. I couldn't get my drill bit in there, obviously, so it went in on an angle. I'm not too worried about it. It's covered up by the light. You'll never know just by looking at it, but I wasn't really happy with how it looked in the meantime while I was fitting everything. If you have a better idea of how to do it, go for it. I just kind of stuck a drill bit in there and jacked her up. So once I had a hole in both those pieces, I went ahead and I slid the bracket in place, lined it up with the hole, and I put a bolt in there. The reason I put the bolt and nut in there to hold the bracket is because when I welded it, I didn't want to push it and move it and then have to make a bigger hole in the plastic or something stupid like that. So I went ahead and just bolted it in place real tight so it wouldn't move when I started welding, and then I welded it. This was hard to get to, actually. I was able to get the ground clamp in there and shoved into a place, but it was kind of haphazard, but it worked. It did ground. As far as getting the welding lead in there, the nozzle, that was a little bit tricky. I couldn't, like usually when I weld, I like to put my hand right up there close to, because I'm a touchy-feely guy, and I couldn't do that, but it turned out okay. It doesn't look horrible, doesn't look fantastic, but it doesn't look horrible. So that's all good, that's in place, welded her in. I was actually going to install a little gusset going down from the bracket to the bumper as well, but after welding this in place, I had enough overlap. It is very, very solid. Like, it's not going anywhere. Here, I'll show you. Oh, like, I'm moving the whole truck to move the light right now. So, yeah, no, it ain't going nowhere. So I did not do the gusset. At this point, I took the light off of the bracket and I bolted the bracket into place. I put the bolt head on top and stuck it down with the nut on the bottom. And you can install these upside down too, by the way, wherever floats your boat. I then put the light on and shoved the wires in back towards the radiator, just for some wire management, make it look good kind of thing, you know. At this point, I wanted to tighten it down just so it was tight, and I just kind of took my best guess as to where tight would be, or where the light would aim. It turned out I was way off, but I adjusted them later, so we'll get there. So at this point, I went ahead and did the exact same thing on the other side because it worked so good on the first side. I cut my little bracket, I welded it in place, or cut my bracket, drilled a hole, welded it in place, and mounted the light to the best of my ability. And then pretty much I just had to wait until dark. So at this point, I'm going to take you back into the garage at the point of where I'm wiring it and kind of explain what we're doing and why. And then we'll come back here in a minute after you're done visiting with past Jeremy. Alright, so I was just going to cut the harness, take the connections for the fog lights, and tie them directly into the fog lights on the truck. But this is super small gauge wire, which tells me that it's not very good for much amperage, and I might tie some more fog lights into these ones. I'm pointing to the harness. I might tie some more fog lights into these guys eventually. I think I might get one that, you know, I don't know. I just don't like limiting myself. So I think what I'm going to do is, I have no interest in running this switch connection into the truck. Because I still want it to come on with the fog lights. So I think what I'm going to do is, what I was going to do is just take the switch connection here and run it into the fog light. So when you turn the fog lights on, it senses the input here, goes through the relay, sends power, you know, straight to the battery. So one of these is just an input to tell the relay to send power to the lamps. So I've got to figure out which one of these wires is that and tie that into the fog lights right here. And then I guess the other one's a ground. That way when this gets power, that senses power, tells the relay to open up or close as it will. So this will be connected to the battery. They'll turn the fog lights on for the multifunction switch. That'll have power, which will tell this, hey, we have power, go ahead and send it. So that's essentially closing the relay there, and then these have power. I just confused the crap out of myself, but I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. And we're gonna see if we can't figure this out. We might demolish a harness, but we're gonna figure it out. So bear with me. Probably not gonna film it because I'm running low on time. I'm just gonna do it and then I'll show you what I did when I'm done, because this is gonna be trial and error too, and I don't want to show you guys, because I know you guys skipped through the video and I don't want you to see me hooking something up and just assume, even though that would be your stupid fault and not mine. I'm gonna help you by helping me, and just, I don't know. I'll show you when I'm done. All right, I realize now I should have stopped a minute ago and showed you where I was at, but you know, I didn't. So where we're at. So this is the harness that goes inside the cab. I didn't want to run this in the cab. You need like a 1-inch hole to get through the firewall, which is dumb. So what I did is I took the harness connected to the relay. This is the part that plugs in there. Cut these off. And what I found is I don't need the white and I don't need the black. The blue is your switched power. So I took the blue wire, I don't know if you can see that, from the relay, and I ran it into the white wire on the right hand passenger side fog light. So the white wire on the fog light coming out, I put the blue wire from the relay on the new harness in. Now we can use all the harness stuff except the switch. So now when I turn the fog lights on, these lights also come on, but they're not being powered from the fog light, they're being powered directly from the battery. So all this does is when I put the multifunction switch to fog lights on, all this does is tell that relay up there that, hey, send power over here from the battery. So as you can see, we're still connected to the battery. This is all temporary. I still got to run all this wire. But that's kind of where we're at and kind of what we're doing. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. But for now, if you want to do the same, that is what I did. Easy peasy, guys. I want to try and manage some of this wire out, and I'll get back to you. All right, guys, we got her. She's all wired up, all good to go. Works great. So you can't tell in the video, these are very bright. Oh yeah, see them in front, that one's all glary. These are pretty dang bright. I don't know what kind of light they're gonna cast until tonight. So we'll take it out after dark or probably in the morning on the way to work, because, you know, we gotta go to work. But there she is. Turns on with the fogs. Works out good. Doesn't look half bad either. So yeah, it doesn't look half bad. So now that you guys have visited and you know what we were doing with the wiring, I can say it worked out great. I kind of fished my wires around, did some wire management. You didn't see that, but it's all good. So we're running directly off the battery to the switch to the lights. So when we turn the multifunction switch fog lights on, boop, those turn on, which tells the relay, hey, it's time to send power over to the other guys. And then the relay closes, as it will, and sends power straight from the battery to those fog lights. I did that because I'm probably going to add something else, maybe some ditch lights later, and that's how I wanted it done. And then if I wire ditch lights or stuff, I can wire them directly into those fog lights because they're getting direct battery power. They're not going through all the computer and everything. So that is what I did. As far as showing you how they work, how well they work at night, I tried. I really tried. I took the camera out at night and everything. So the way these work, these are spotlights, by the way. So they're not floodlights. They don't go blah. They go bling. The way the yellow tint and the white tint work, from my perspective only, not a scientific perspective, my perspective. Oh, it's cold. Yellow light allows your eyeballs to see better. White light allows the camera to see better. So, for example, when I turn these on at night, I can turn the headlights on, which are white, and so show the camera, and it'll show everything in that white light. You turn the yellow, but I can't see as good in comparative to yellow, so the camera sees really good in white light. I do not. So you turn the yellow lights on, I can see really good everything that gets in the yellow, but the camera can't. So I can't really show you how well these work because it just wasn't working out. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. These are super bright. They work great. I haven't driven in the snow yet, but I did drive in some pretty dense fog a couple times now, and yeah, they work out really great. I haven't been flashed by anybody in oncoming traffic yet, but I've got these aimed pretty low now. They don't shoot out, 6 miles down the road. They shoot out about 4 car lengths. And so I got those aimed pretty low. They're not the floodlights, so they're not blinding everybody around you. It's just that beam straight in front. And I've got them low enough that nobody's been flashing me. I've been looking for that, waiting for it. I've passed a couple of sheriffs. They haven't pulled me over yet. So what I'm trying to get at is I think they're okay on the road. I don't think they're hurting anybody. I think they're going to work out just fine. I put a different set on the Jeep. We'll show you that at some other point. And I actually like those a lot better than these, but for where these are mounted, I really do like these. They're working out great. So I will link these down in Amazon down below. Remember, if you click on a link and buy something within 24 hours, I get a small commission off of that, supposedly. If you click on my link and then somebody else's link, they get that commission. So, just throwing that out there. Also, I've got Zelle and PayPal links down below if you want to donate directly to the channel with your hard-earned cash. That is always super appreciated. Everybody that's done it, you're awesome. Thank you very much. You've probably noticed by now we're down to every other week postings due to time, funding, and everything else. We got the new baby and all that stuff, and we're just running low on time and funds, so every other week on the videos at this point. I appreciate every single one of you guys that watches the videos. Thanks for sticking around. Comment down below, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Remember, hit subscribe and the bell so you know when I post, especially now that it's not as frequent. And thanks for being a part of the channel, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Stick around. Adios.